Welcome to Play Quiz House. 100 questions that separate smart from average. Let's go. How many continents are there on Earth? Eight. How many players are on a soccer team on the field? 11. What is the capital of Japan? Tokyo. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci. What is the largest ocean? Pacific. Who was the first president of the USA? George Washington. What color is the UN flag? Blue. How many planets are in the solar system? 8. What is the longest river in the world? 9. Who directed the movie Titanic? James Cameron. Which country has the largest population? India. What is the largest organ in the human body? Skin. In which year did World War II begin? 1939. What is the capital of Canada? Ottawa. Who was the first man on the moon? Neil Armstrong. What is the name of our galaxy? Milky Way. Which country hosted the 2014 FIFA World Cup? Brazil. Who wrote Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling. What is the largest land mammal? African elephant. What is the capital of Australia? Canberra. Who won the most Ballon d'Or awards? Lionel Messi. What is the smallest unit of matter? Atom. What language is spoken in Brazil? Portuguese. Which wall fell in 1989? Berlin Wall. What instrument has keys and strings? Piano. What is the name of the desert in North Africa? Sahara. How many rings are on the Olympic flag? 5. What is the largest island in the world? Greenland. Which element has the symbol O? Oxygen. Which country has the most time zones? Russia. Which country consumes the most chocolate per person? Switzerland. In which year did the Soviet Union collapse? 1991. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? Diamond. What is the chemical symbol for tungsten? W. What is the main cause of tides on Earth? The moon's gravity. What language family does Polish belong to? Slavic. Which empire was ruled by Mansa Musa? Mali Empire. Which gas makes up most of Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. Who proposed the theory of general relativity? Albert Einstein. What is the capital of New Zealand? Wellington. What is the speed of light in vacuum, approximately? 300,000 kilometers per second. Which political ideology is Karl Marx associated with? Communism. What organ produces insulin? Pancreas. Which ocean current warms Europe? Gulf Stream. Which battle ended Napoleon's rule? Waterloo. What branch of math studies chain? Calculus. What does GDP stand for? Gross domestic product. Which artist cut off part of his ear? Van Gogh. Which treaty ended World War I? Treaty of Versailles. What is the main function of red blood cells? Transport oxygen. Which number system uses only 0 and 1? Binary. Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? Marie Sklodowska-Curie. Which continent has no permanent population? Antarctica. What is the square root of 144? 12. Which hormone regulates sleep? Melatonin. What does HTTP stand for? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Who wrote 1984? George Orwell. Which planet rotates on its side? Uranus. What is photosynthesis mainly dependent on? Sunlight. Which ancient civilization built Machu Picchu? Inca. What type of triangle has all sides equal? Equilateral. What is the main ingredient of glass? Sand. Which country has the highest life expectancy in the world? Japan. Which country has won the most FIFA World Cups? Brazil. Which mountain range separates Europe and Asia? Ural Mountains. Who formulated the laws of planetary motion? Johannes Kepler. What does the term tabula rasa mean? Blank slate. Which chemical bond involves the sharing of electrons? Covalent. What was the main purpose of the Marshall Plan? Rebuild Europe after World War II. Which structure connects muscles to bones? Tendon. What is the value of pi to 2 decimal places? 3.14. Which empire built roads that still influence Europe today? Roman Empire. Who introduced the concept of natural selection? Charles Darwin. What does entropy measure in physics? Disorder. Which organ is responsible for detoxifying blood? Liver. Which treaty created the European Union's foundations? Treaty of Rome. What is the main cause of the greenhouse effect? Carbon dioxide. Who was the first emperor of China? Qin Shi Huang. Which programming language is primarily used for web browsers? JavaScript. Which blood type is known as the universal donor? O-. What branch of philosophy studies knowledge? Epistemology. Which element is necessary for steel production? Carbon. What is the main cause of earthquakes? Plate tectonics. Who wrote The Origin of Species? Charles Darwin. What does VPN stand for? Virtual Private Network. Which organelle contains chlorophyll? Chloroplast. Which country launched the first artificial satellite? USSR. What is the primary function of white blood cells? Immunity. What does the term Renaissance literally mean? Rebirth. Which scientist is associated with classical conditioning? Pavlov. What is the main cause of inflation? Excess money supply. What is the study of earthquakes called? Seismology. What does UNESCO protect? Cultural and natural heritage. Which part of the brain controls balance? Cerebellum. Which ancient wonder was located in Babylon? Hanging Gardens. What is the main unit of heredity? Gene. Which energy source is considered renewable? Wind. What philosophical idea suggests that reality depends on perception? Idealism. Which country has more lakes than the rest of the world combined? Canada. What everyday metal is actually lighter than water? Lithium. How many did you get right? Subscribe for more and challenge yourself again.